all. So Ruby Volume 7 starts up in less than a week now, and like you, I am freaking excited. So I decided to make a quick video. 7 things we need to see in Volume 7. I'm not saying that the series will be ruined or that I think the season will be awful if we don't have these 7 things in, but I kind of feel like they're important based on everything we've seen so far for the continuation of the story, to build on what we've already established. So let's get into it. Number 7, fashion montage. Okay, so there's a reason I put this at the very bottom of the list. Like I said, it's not critical or super important this happens, but I think it would make the season so much better. We already know they're getting new outfits, which, interesting. There's been a lot of debate about how those outfits are going to come. I mean, they said it wouldn't be like the first episode, like, oh, there are new outfits, yay. They said it'd be at some point down the road in the volume that they switch out, so I'm just hoping they use this opportunity to have some fun with the cast, you know? Like, think Food Fight 2.0. They're basically all trying on new outfits and laughing and joking around, just having a good time. Wouldn't be unprecedented either. We saw that in Genlock, with them even trying on Ruby outfits, which was just so freaking adorable. I loved it. But yeah, this, like I said, the food fights. This would be Food Fight 2.0. Which is a scene I always loved, but never really understand until recently, until rewatching it. This was really their last hurrah, their last time being kids, their last time just without the weight of the world on their shoulders. After this, they started, you know, going after the White Fang, becoming actual defenders of the world. Then they had the tournament arc, which led to a lot of deaths, so it was a final breathing moment, and I think we're going to need that in this season. I think we're going to need one happy moment with the cast before things turn very, very dark again. If you follow the season theory at all with Ruby, you'll know this is the second fall, so it's literally season 3 all over again. And there's no proof that's the case, but I feel like if something bad's going to happen, it has to happen now. I'll get into more as we go down the list, but again, I just think it would be an amazing scene. It would just really give the cast a chance to shine. The fan base absolutely love it. They lost their freaking mind when they saw the new outfits, and if they saw like other outfits, like just 1 or 2 for each character, that would inspire fan artists. It would just everyone would love it, and I think it's something I really hope Rushjeet does. But next up, number 6, Neo must betray Cinder. Again, I'm keeping this low because doesn't need to happen. I really feel like it should. Neo literally spent the last 2 years tracking down Cinder, tracking down the woman who she blamed for Torchwick's death for all of her suffering, and then within like 30 seconds, she's like, you know what? I blamed you, but really it's that little girl of Ruby that we were always underestimating and joking around about how pathetic and weak she was. She's the real monster in all this. She's the one I need to seek my vengeance against. I'm just, no, Neo, that makes no sense whatsoever. You're not a dumb person. You should be able to think things through here, and I think she did. I think she saw this. She saw Cinder basically become a god of fire, and she's like, I can't fight you right now. So let's go fight Ruby, and I'll kill her. And then when you're all distracted fighting the rest of her team, I'm going to stab you in the back. I just feel like that has to be what Neo's thinking. It has to be what her plan is. I mean, she might blame Ruby, so I'm not saying, you know, she's going to become friends, join Team Ruby. Though I'd absolutely freaking love that. I just feel like she has to still blame Cinder, and I can't imagine they're just going to be buddy-buddy from now on. I just, you know, even the song, her song, One Thing, which played in the actual episodes, like she said, I spent every night dreaming my revenge. I'm like, all right. You spent every night dreaming your revenge against Cinder, and now you're all of a sudden like, you know what? I'm going to go after Ruby instead. I just can't imagine Neo did a 180 that quickly. Like I said, it would be fun if she ended up joining Team Ruby. Really don't think that's going to happen. I mean, she and Torchwick are all about the whole let's be selfish thing. Let's care about only ourselves. So, yeah. Kind of can't imagine her just swapping out that much, but it'd be fun if she did. Number 5. Atlas must fall. So yeah, this is a whole Chekhov's gun situation. We have literally a floating city, and if you're going to show a floating city, at some point the floating city has to freaking fall. But that's not my only reason for saying it must fall. Personally, I just think Atlas is too OP. They are too strong. They have the best military, the best fighters, the best weapons, the best little girl androids. that are essentially the strongest fighters in the world. They are just too freaking powerful right now. If Atlas managed to survive without anything bad happening to them this volume, they're just perfectly okay. For the rest of the series, I'm just wondering, okay, why isn't Atlas doing anything here? I mean, they have all the, army and weapons and whatnot. Why aren't you sending a little more support to Team Ruby to make sure they don't have to, fight gods by themselves? I mean, again, though, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to fall. I just feel like they have to take huge damage. They have to suffer a lot. They have to be damaged to the point where you can't just think to yourself, well, why isn't Atlas showing up to help? You have to be able to say, okay, yeah, Atlas isn't helping. You just have to be able to say to yourself, okay, Atlas isn't helping because they're still trying to recover from everything else. Again, I'm not saying everyone on the floating island needs to die, but they're all probably racist and horrible, so a majority of them should probably die, but yeah, that's my feeling about this. They're just too powerful. They need to end. They need to be stopped, just for the sake of telling a better story. I mean, I see this ending, they're fleeing. I mean, I see the volume ending, they're fleeing. They're all injured pretty badly. As they turn around, they see Atlas burning to the ground behind them as it fell from the sky. And there's like, now we're the last ones. Now we're the last hope to saving humanity, or something like that. It just makes sense to me that that's something that should happen. Alright, keeping this light. Number 4, someone must die. Yep. So, Ruby for a long time now has had this weird thing where people are like, oh, they're afraid to kill people. They're afraid to kill people. I mean, yeah, they killed Adam last volume, but people are like arguing, oh, well, he was already dead. They already ruined his character. It doesn't matter that they killed him. People actually complain, a lot of complaints about them killing him because it just didn't seem to make a lot of sense. But that's a whole other debate for another day. But I feel like somebody has to die to really raise the stakes, let them know, okay, things are being serious here. I'm not saying it has to be like a member of Team Ruby. I definitely don't see that happening. John, probably not. Ren and Nora, maybe. But I could see like one of them dying and the other one has to, I really don't think they do that to the community, the fans, but you never know. I mean, they freaking killed Pyrrha. Did not see that coming. I know a lot of others did, but I really didn't. I had to guess top 3 candidates for dying. Crow, Maria, Winter. Yeah, I could see that. Old Jock too, but I think we'd all cheer if they killed Jock. I mean, if you want to go further, there's also Hazel. Definitely see him betraying Cinder, Salem, and trying to protect the kids. He doesn't really seem like a bad guy that much. Mercury, I could see him, getting killed. I could see him dying as he, covers Emerald's escape as she flees from Salem and all their evilness. But yeah, the main 3 I think are dying are Crow, Marie, or Winter. Or, let's throw an Ironside there. Ironside just because... Ironside, Ironwood? One of those. I forget his name right now. Just because, in the trailer we saw he's all like, oh, this is our moment, they will defend her, and it looks like he's gone absolutely freaking insane, so I definitely see him dying somewhere along the way. In fact, they even said they wanted to kill him or get rid of him to stop the blockade because that was impeding their evilness somehow. Crow, I mean, I think a lot of the community would be shocked if they killed him, but it makes certain sense. I've always felt he's a little too OP and, he was so much stronger than the rest of them. It just doesn't really feel like there's high stakes if he's there fighting up by their side. Plus with the drama surrounding his voice actor, which I am definitely not going to get into at all, I could definitely see them just wanting to, put him to rest now. Next, Marie. I mean, people have been saying, oh, she's Yoda, she's Yoda, she's Yoda. I'm like, yeah, but Yoda died after the training was finished. I mean, killing off a mentor like that after they've taught you all you need to know, that's definitely, something I could see them doing. It's such a cliche almost. I mean, if they don't, I don't really see her purpose on the team anymore, except maybe, being their pilot, but not really sure how much they need her as a pilot, but again, it's just hard to say exactly what her role would be if they don't kill her. And then there's Winter, who, again, I'm just not sure quite what her purpose is going to be moving forward. She's been, Weiss's big sister, her role model person, she's always trying to be like, so losing her would definitely give Weiss a chance to reevaluate who she is, what she's working for, what she wants, though. Again, that would be pretty cold, but again, it would definitely raise stakes. Okay, no, they aren't afraid to kill people. Now we know. And, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of theories going on that she's the Winter Maiden. Which just seems too freaking obvious. I mean, it seems like Summer wasn't the Summer Maiden, which... maybe? Honestly, no idea about that. I should have included Summer on this list. Flashbacks to Summer, that's what I want to say, but yeah. So... yeah, but I'm going to speak more about Winter down the road, so let's move on. Number 3, Penny! Yeah, I know you're thinking, Just King, Penny's dead. Well, yeah, but she was from Atlas. That's where they're going. I can't imagine that's not going to come up at some point. I mean, oh, God. I have this horrible, horrible, horrible theory about what's going to happen where it's basically, you know, they're going to get there and they're going to see Penny and they're like, Penny! And she's going to be like, boop up, I am Penny Model 378. How may I service you? And they just remade her, but without any of the emotions. Now she's the soulless machine that somehow still has aura, and they're going to be like, no, Penny! And hell, maybe they're going to have multiple ones, like dozens and dozens of Penny bots. Like, these are our ultimate defense against the Grimm, and then at some point Salem's going to take control of them, so then Ruby just has to murder her friend over and over and over again. And I really don't want to see that. I really don't. But we also can't forget that Penny has a father. Her father, the man who made her, is in Atlas. And I could seriously see a scene where a mysterious man in lab coat aids Team Ruby, helps them get around, helps them find what they're looking for, escape or whatever. And then they're like, why are you helping us? And he turns to Ruby, puts a hand on her shoulder, looks her in the eyes and says, because you were my daughter's friend. I'm actually just imagining that. That would just be absolutely amazing. I would love that. Definitely give us some closure on the whole Penny thing, Ruby's emotions, her feelings about all that. I would absolutely love it. But yeah, basically we need to have some reference to Penny at some point throughout this volume. Either killer Penny clones, which please God no, or at least her father. I mean, others are saying they're just going to rebuild her, but I just can't imagine that's what would happen. Like, I can't really imagine they're just going to go there and Penny's going to be like, hi, Ruby, they rebuilt me. I can't die. It would feel like a violation of her death, a violation of the pain we felt at seeing her die. Like if Pyrrha just suddenly showed... I can't actually make the same argument with Pyrrha because I feel like her death inspired people to... inspired John to grow stronger and to keep fighting and all that. But Penny... just her death was so tragic, so unexpected, so dark, and... I mean, it was that moment that Ruby, really became a series, really just said, okay, yeah, we're not, we can be dark now, we can be really dark now. So if they just undid her death, it would feel like they're just undoing everything, undoing all the seriousness of it, like there's no stakes anymore, like dead people come back whenever the hell they want. But that's just my thoughts on that. Let me know what you think down below. Would you be upset if Penny just came back whole and complete and like nothing had ever happened? Alright, moving on. Number 2, Schnee time! Yeah, so... this might seem obvious, but I'm really worried that they're just not going to do this properly. Weiss needs to confront her whole friggin' family, every last one of them, because she has drama with all of them, and this is something she needs to deal with if she ever wants to move on. I mean, first off, her father, I mean, after her whole confrontation with her father, it kind of feels to me like she just ran away from home, and I think that's how her father felt too, and she's like, oh, what an impetuous child, she just ran away from home. I'm sure she'll be back, though, honestly, how he justified her disappearance is going to be interesting. I'm assuming he either said, like, oh, she's so sick she can't leave the house, or he just said, oh, yeah, she died, so sad, we have a funeral for her next Tuesday. I mean, that'd be really freaking weird if, she gets back and they're like, wait a minute, Weiss, everyone thinks you're dead. We had a whole funeral for you. I mean, hell, he might have actually think she never left Atlas. He might be thinking, oh, she's probably hiding out at a friend's house or somewhere. I'm sure she's nearby. That's going to be a very weird conversation, but really, Weiss just needs to confront her father about all the terrible, terrible things that he's done. I mean, The man's a freaking monster, and so much more, but again, I'll get into that. And Weiss just really needs to confront him in all of it. Declare herself a huntress. Declare herself as her own individual person, not a puppet that he made. Next up, Willow? I think that's... Yeah, Weiss's mother's name is Willow. Weiss really needs to confront her. Like, listen, Mom, I know you were in a very abusive marriage with a man that didn't love you, but... You are our freaking mother! Seriously, step it up, girl! You are so freaking drunk, you didn't realize the horrible things we've been going through. Step up and be a mother! I mean, really... She just... We've never actually even freaking seen her mother. I mean, the only comment we've ever gotten was, oh, she's drinking in the garden. So yeah, Weiss needs to confront her mother about just, stepping up. Becoming a mother. Becoming the schnee that she is. Maybe even taking the company back from her horrible, horrible husband. Just, seriously, if we don't see Willow, or if Weiss doesn't confront her or do something about her, I just, again, really feel like that's a missed opportunity there. Next up, Whitley. Yeah, Whitley. So, I am in the camp that Whitley is a terrible, evil sociopath who's going to betray his father, sister, murder his father, sell out the whole company to Salem and Cinder so that he can take control and become the new evil dictator, and that he enjoys watching Faunus murder each other. But that's not the opinion of everyone. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, Whitley's just misunderstood, he's a victim of abuse, blah, blah, blah. He hasn't actually done anything wrong yet, and I just need to know one way or another. We either need Whitley to revealed as like the one of the biggest evil guys in the entire series, or we need some kind of character death from him, some kind of arc for him where he apologized for being such an ass to Weiss, where he helps Team Ruby, where he just stands up to his father and he isn't, the terrifying little puppet that his father made. We need some answers with that kid. One way or the other. But yeah, let me know down below. Is Whitley evil? I think so. Others have hotly debated me that he is not. But yeah. And finally there's Winter, who... I have mixed feelings about her. I mean, the one time, we've seen, at least in the various mangas, that Winter's always there defending Weiss, making sure she's okay, making sure she's safe, keeping her, free from her father's evil will. But at the same time, she essentially abandoned her sister when she left to, join the army. There was no one there to take care of her, no one there to make sure she was okay, no one there to make sure, that she wasn't being abused by her father again. And I kind of feel like Weiss needs to, call her out on this, call her out on not doing more to stop her father. I know it wasn't her job, but she was the big sister, so it kind of actually was her freaking job. Also, she might die. Winter dying would definitely be interesting. Like I said before, give Weiss the chance to grow, move past the image she always had of being, her sister. Because the truth is, she is not her sister. We've seen that time and time again. She's different from her. Weiss even, modeled her weapon after her sister's, but Weiss uses her weapon very differently from hers. Even the summoning, Her sister seems to be focused on small attacks, like a bunch of little small birds attacking when they attacked Crow like that, while Weiss seems more focused on big attacks, summoning the knight, summoning the bee, summoning things like that. So there's a big difference between the two of them, and I think Weiss really needs to realize that she is someone different from her sister, and which will help her, pinpoint a combat style that's more her own. But again, that's just my thought on that. And finally, the number one thing that we need to see in Volume 7 of RWBY... Drumroll! Racism! Oh, that sounded so wrong to say, but it really is true. I mean, it's been built up time and time and time again that Atlas is essentially the most racist place on Earth. The Schnee Dust Company is the most racist company in the world. They essentially hire slave labor, and everyone there is awful. And we need to see that. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying I want to see it. I'm saying we need to see it for the world that's been established so far. I mean, the whole White Fang thing essentially been a protest against the SDC. Add him to the freaking SDC logo burned into his freaking face. If we just get there and everyone's like, "Oh, it's a faunus, how nice," and then walks away, I'm actually gonna be ticked off there because it's like I said, it's been built up time and time again. This is a place where they have no rights, where they have no values, where they are treated as second-class citizens more so than in any other part of the world, and we need to see that. And what's more, we need to see how the team reacts to that. Ruby, no idea. I mean, of course she's gonna step up to defend Blake and all that, but you really don't know how she's gonna react to out and out racism all around her. Weiss is gonna be interesting. I'm actually really excited to see Weiss because I mean, literally, our first conversation was with Blake was Blake admonishing her for her company essentially using slave labor and being evil. Weiss only really ever discussed this like once during the whole campfire thing when they're talking around about her father's evil company and how he has bad practices and whatnot. That's the only time they've ever discussed it, and honestly, that feels like it feels like something they could have done better. I mean, seriously, Adam never even once talked about how Blake was literally teamed up with the daughter of the company that was responsible for like 90% of their problems. That he had embedded in his freaking face. How was that never brought up? But yeah, so that is really something that needs to be discussed. I mean, Weiss needs to realize, and admit and apologize to Blake for all the awful things her company has done. Promise to make things better for her. Just do something. Seriously, just to confront her father about it. And then there's Blake, who, is used to racism. I mean, I think this is like racism plus, though, since she's in the capital of it. Can't imagine that's going to go well for her. I'm assuming just a lot of bad comments about her. God, I actually can't even wait to see what's going to happen when, Jacques and everyone sees Weiss walk in with a faunus right behind her. That's going to be fun. I'm sure at least one person is going to recommend, Blake, you may want to keep that ribbon on for your remainder of the time, just for your own safety. And finally, there is Yang. Oh, I'm excited to see Yang. I mean, when Cordova just made one little snide comment about Blake in front of her, she was ready to rip her freaking head off. And that was when she was still mad at Blake. Now that they're almost official, I think so. Others not so much. But now they are, closer than they were back then. To say that, let's leave it at that. I think Yang is gonna have a lot of anger issues about all this. I mean, just so much anger. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. That's going to be really, really interesting. I mean, in my mind, how this is going to go is Yang's just going to get angrier and angrier at the whole volume as everyone, keeps making horrible comments about Blake and the faunus and all that, and he'll eventually reach a point where she just gets so angry, she's like, I just want to freaking kill them all! And or something like that, and Blake's like, Yang, you're starting to sound like Adam. That just leads to a moment between the two of them where not only do they come to better understand Adam, how he became who he was, which I think a lot of the Adam lovers in the fan base would just love, but a chance for Yang to really confront her anger, the issue that, she was fighting in, and we've seen her do some improvement there, but that would just be a great character development for her, where she just realizes how her anger is consuming her, how it's turning into someone she's not, how it's turning into someone she doesn't want to be. And just another great moment for Blake, where she's like, oh, I like angry people, don't I? So yeah, that's why I think racism needs to be in there. It feels like it has to be there after everything that's built up over all this time. It just feels like the appropriate next step after everything we've seen so far. I mean, literally every single time Alice is mentioned, it's usually a comment about how they use slave labor or how they use this or that. Seriously, at some point, we pretty much have to see a mine with, faunuses in chains being whipped or beaten or something like that. I just think that has to happen at some point. Honestly, they may end up siding. I have no problem imagining them just siding with Salem because she's like, side with me and we get to kill everyone who keeps whipping you. And they're like, all right, let's do that. But yeah, that's my list of 7 things I think we need to see in Volume 7. Let me know what you think down below. Anything else we need to see? Anything else you think is necessary for the volume to succeed? anything you disagree with. I mean, those are my 7 things, but I'm sure you can make any number of arguments that those 7 things don't need to happen. That XYZ could happen instead. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. Be sure to like, subscribe. Till next time.
Peace.